Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. 7. 7 is the number of wheel scrolls on my mouse that it takes for me to get from this video to the end of OJ. 7. You don't even know how many it takes to get to the beginning. I'm not counting. It's minutes long of scrolling to get to the beginning. To the end, done. That's how close we are.
That it would speak
Here
for
we
itself.
go.
Do you expect to come here and be badgered like this by Mr.
All right. I know. I see the problem. Okay, we're good. I was live streaming during my live stream something else, and I had the audio routed there so no one could hear it, and it's over now, so I'm good. I can play OJ.
Neufeld?
Sustained.
All right. When Mr. Neufeld asked you questions during this half-hour break, sir, can you describe his demeanor
Hostile.
and the manner in which he asked you questions?
In the manner in which he kept repeating after I told him I preferred not to.
And why did you prefer not to, sir?
It just didn't feel comfortable. It didn't feel right to me to do it in the middle of my testimony.
Did you tell him under what conditions you would answer questions?
On the stand,
Under oath?
under oath, I said I'd be happy to answer anything.
Now, during the 14 minutes, can you tell us, first of all, the tape stopped at 3:59, correct?
Yes.
And after the tape stopped, what happened?
I don't recall if it was Mr. Pratt saying there was something that he still needed to demonstrate, or if it was Hank Goldberg, Didier Goldberg, remembering that he wanted him to demonstrate something, but there was something else that was going to be done. It was almost an afterthought, and then it was done. We were back on the tape, and they did it.
All right. Now, before you were actually shown the segment where there was a stop and a start and a tape, did you have an independent recollection of that event, of it having been stopped and started?
No. It happened about the same time as I said that she tested to make sure that it taped before we left. Toward the end, he had a TV right there, and it was all within that same time frame.
Well, when this taping was going on, sir, was there some kind of equipment that she had set up, was it Ms. Ramirez,
Yes.
of the photo lab unit?
Yes.
And was there some equipment she had set up to conduct this videotaping?
Yes.
When the tape stopped at 3:59, did she proceed to dismantle that equipment?
Yes.
And when Mr. Goldberg or Mr. Paradas indicated they wanted to...
Here's what I think it is, and I could be wrong. I know that he is okay, I don't know. I think he's a cameraman, okay? So he recorded stuff. He might have he recorded something with his camera. So they got done questioning the people that were on the camera, Now they're questioning the people who recorded the people that were on the camera. So I think the only natural progression to this is their parents are going to come in next and talk about what they did that day. I don't know. What I'm saying, Ginny, is this is useless and pointless. It means nothing to nothing to nothing. But thankfully, this is quick. Like, he's not on the stand for a long time.
To say something else, did she have to go there and set it back up again?
No objection, leading and asked and answered.
Rephrase the question.
When you indicated it was either Mr. Goldberg or Mr. Paradas that indicated a desire to say something further on the tape, correct?
Right.
At that point, had she begun to break the equipment down
Yes, I think so.
and pack up?
Yes.
Did you see her at some point play the tape on the television to see if it had taped correctly?
Yes.
And did that occur during the 14-minute break?
I don't recall if it was during that 14-minute break or afterwards, but it could have been either. I can't say for sure.
Are you sure, however, that she began to pack up her equipment during that 14-minute break?
Yes.
Okay. Then when Mr. Goldberg and Mr. Paradas indicated a desire to tape some more discussion, what did she do?
I set it back up and filmed the rest of it, whatever remained.
Okay.
Oh,
Do you
you
know,
changed your
Mr. Paratus in that
icon
last segment was
again. I
holding a
love
12 cc
it.
syringe, correct?
Right?
Earlier in the interview, had he been showing anything with a 12 cc syringe?
He hadn't shown us.
I think that actually Miss
Fred, see, there are two types of ladies in this chat. What you said and how I answered, and then how sweet Martha answered. Of course, I'm glad you're not. Hi, Walter. Ginny, I really love your new icon.
misstates what you saw on the tape, then misstates the testimony.
Sustained. There's no testimony in the record regarding the size of the syringe.
Can we play the tape, John?
Play the whole tape, not at this point. Proceed with your examination. See if you can lay a foundation for what it was.
Okay. Do you recall, sir, at this moment, what was the substance of Mr. Paratus' statement at 4:13 on the tape?
What was the status of that last segment? Is that what you're asking?
Do you recall independently now, without reviewing the videotape, what Mr. Paratus was showing on the videotape when it was resumed at 4:13?
It was a 12 cc container of some sort.
Okay. Now when the interview began at 3:36?
Yes.
Okay. When the interview began at 3:36 until it concluded at 3:59, had, to your recollection, he shown a 12 cc vial during that 23-minute segment?
He had a little box with different vials. I don't recall if that one was in there or not. I don't believe he demonstrated with that one, though.
Okay. During the 14 minutes after the tape stopped at 3:59, did he go to look for that 12 cc syringe, to your recollection?
Objection, that wasn't his testimony, it was a 12 cc syringe, it was some 12 cc container.
Container.
Rephrase the question.
Did he go to look for some 12 cc container?
There was a point that he went to look for another container, syringe, whatever it was, and then he came back. If this was that exact time, I don't recall. There was a time they left and he came back to get something. It wasn't, I remember him shuffling the box, it wasn't in there, and he went to get it. This could very well have been that time.
Objection, one strikes, he said it could have been, it calls for me speculating.
Overruled.
All right, sir, at any time did Mr. Goldberg suggest to Mr. Paratus what he was supposed to say?
No.
Did you ever suggest to him what he was supposed to say?
No.
Was Mr. Paratus given any kind of written material or script to look at before he answered questions on the videotape?
No.
Where's your water supply?
It's good. Thank you.
Mr. Hopler, it was the videographer who was taking apart and putting back the equipment, correct?
Yes.
It wasn't Mr. Goldberg, correct?
No.
And it wasn't Mr. Paratus, right?
Right.
So while she's taking apart her equipment, Mr. Paratus and Mr. Goldberg are free to have whatever discussions they want during that 14-minute period, is that correct?
Yes.
And if Mr. Paratus happened to walk off for some period of time to get another syringe, that didn't take up 14 minutes, did it?
Sustained.
Well,
Rephrase the question.
you said on redirect examination that you're not even sure if during those 14 minutes Mr. Paratus even went off to get another syringe, are you?
Correct.
And sir, you also said at the end of her redirect examination a moment ago that that day when you arrived there was no script given to Mr. Paratus, is that right?
Correct.
And no instructions before the tape began rolling the first time to Mr. Paratus, is that correct?
Correct.
But you don't know to what extent Mr. Goldberg prepped him on prior occasions, do you?
No, I wouldn't.
Sustained.
Nothing further.
Ms. Clark?
Was there anything about the nature of Mr. Paratus' demeanor or his answers that led you to believe anyone had coached him, sir?
You're right, he's not qualified, man.
Sustained. Sustained.
Did you form any impression about the nature of Mr. Paratus' responses to the question?
Objection, he's not competent to answer that either.
Sustained. All right. Anything else?
Nothing else.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Rockler, thank you very much. You're excused, sir. Yes.
Run
All right, counsel, let me see you at
before
the
they
sidebar
think
without
of
the
another
report, please.
question. Run. Don't walk out of this courtroom. Run.
right, and she was the camera person?
That's right, Your Honor.
All right.
We had not anticipated calling her. I'm sure the court can understand why the people would like to call her at this point based on the nature of the cross-examination conducted with Mr. Oppler. She will testify to what transpired when the tape was turned off at 3:59 and when it was turned back on at 4:13.
Problem with that, I think Mr. Newfeld, I thought when we crossed the bench, well, there's no court reporter, but do you mind? Okay, when we said, she said, I thought when she said Teresa, I thought she meant Beverly D. Teresa. And this is Newfeld's witness, and so he's apparently somebody in the courtroom. I got to get him back, and we didn't understand this is who it would be. We thought it was the Swiss person.
No.
So,
Mr. Shapiro, hold on.
okay.
Okay. Okay, back on the record in the Simpson matter. All parties again present. Next witness is Teresa
Ramirez
Ramirez.
of the photo lab of the district attorney's office. She's in addition to our witness list that we made in view of the nature of the cross-examination of Mr. Oppler.
The only thing is we want to move the case along also, Your Honor. I misunderstood our sidebar. I thought it was Beverly D. Teresa, another witness, which I have, and I was prepared on that. But what I'd like to do is an opportunity to get Mr. Neufeld, this is his witness, and also I'm sure he'll want to talk to her, because she was on the witness list, violation 3-day rule. But we'll be ready to go, I'm sure.
All right, you need 5 minutes to talk to her?
I got to get Neufeld first, Your Honor. I may need a few more minutes than that, but we'll be ready.
All right, and Mr. Neufeld and the others are looking at the other physical evidence
As I
right
understand
now.
it, I've got to
Mr.
find out.
Fairtlow, would you see if you can find Mr. Neufeld, please? You're going to get the fire marshals after us. Again.
I can't get in there. That's right, Jim. That's right.
All right, we're going to have to fix that this evening.
Yeah, obviously. You should go around the other way. Come on this
How's the
way.
jury going to get in?
Yeah.
All right, then I will get off the bench, get Mr. Neufeld here, have him talk with Ms.
We, why take up the sanction issue? We have a lawyer here on the issue.
There are lots of lawyers here, Mr. Darden.
I understand that, but I don't know if you want to spend the time on the record on the sanction issue while you have.
Well, we might as well make good use of the time.
Your Honor, Brent Riggs from the DA's office.
Mr. Riggs, how are you? Good to see you.
I wonder if I might impose on the court to perhaps go in chambers with Ms. Clark and Mr. Darden for a few moments.
Why would that be necessary in chambers?
Well, we just think it might be appropriate to have a private conversation if the court wouldn't mind.
Well, I don't think that's appropriate.
Well, what we're doing, I suppose, is
What the
begging
heck?
the court's indulgence for our failure to...
I am sick of these lawyers. How do you pass the bar when you don't know that is inappropriate? How? How do you pass the bar when you don't know what hearsay means? I am sick of these lawyers.
to have an attorney here at 8:30 this morning. As the court probably is aware, we have asked the Court of Appeal to stay the fine, but in any event, we would ask the court to reconsider, at least if not the fine altogether, at least the amount. It does appear that Ms. Clark, in explaining the reason for the delay this morning, was being forthright with the court, and furthermore that she was engaging in diligent advocacy when she defended the office against the fine. So we would ask the court to at least reconsider the amount, if not the fine altogether.
All right, original fine will be reinstated. Anything else, Mr. Riggs?
No, that's all.
All right, thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Okay. Here's what I think just happened here, and I'm not sure. One of two things just happened. Okay, a couple days ago, Marsha Clark got a $250 sanction payable by the end of that day. And then she said something else. And then she got a $1,000 sanction instead of a $250 sanction. Now, I think that's what was just reduced down to $250. I think. The reason why I say I think and I don't know is because they appealed that sanction, and she was delayed. They had to delay this trial because she was over there fighting that appeal, and that's why they were delayed. So, but that could have been a sanction for her making them delay this trial. So he could have given her a sanction for that and raised it. So it could have been that he's dropping now. But I think that the other day the $1,000 sanction got dropped to $250. That makes the most sense.
$250.
Yes.
That even nailed the coffin. 250.
But see, Mr. Riggs is short, to the point. This is what we want. This is why we want it. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Notice how effective that is? Persuasive. Okay, Mr. Neufeld, I'm going to get off the bench so that you can talk to the witness.
Actually, I'm going to ask that she be called tomorrow morning. I mean, first of all, there has been a rule. I'm asking for 3 days, but I'm
No.
asking for 12 hours.
No, right now. Talk to her.
Well, Your Honor, my concern is that we're doing the other things to prepare for debrief.
Will I chat with the next witness? All right. Deputy McNair, let's have the jurors, please.
They're worse than toddlers, I swear. They just are. I mean, what does he have to prepare for to ask this witness questions? They're talking about 13 minutes about a video they made. There's no transcript for this video for some reason, so I can't bump it forward to the exact spot.
All in favor of the testimony made in the cause now pending before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Please have a seat in the witness stand and state your first and last names for the record.
Teresa, last name Ramirez.
Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Ramirez, can you tell us what you do for a living?
I'm a photographer for the Bureau of Investigation of Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office.
And you work in what we call the photo lab in the DA's office?
Yes,
Directing your attention to the date of July 27th, 1995, did you perform the videotaping of an interview of Thano Paradas?
yes,
And in order to do that, did you go to the home of Thano Paradas?
yes.
And who was with you?
Hank Goldberg.
You see a
and-
DA?
Yes,
You see him here in the courtroom?
yes,
Back there?
yes.
Okay. Who else?
Stephen Opler.
Was that a DA investigator?
Yes,
And is that somebody who testified in court today?
yes,
Did you see him testify on television today?
yes.
Did you watch all of his testimony?
Excuse me?
Did you watch all of his testimony?
No.
Okay. And who else was there? There was
Uh,
you, Steve Opler, Hank Goldberg, and
Mr. Paradas. He lives there.
And did you perform the videotaping of the interview conducted by Hank Goldberg?
Yes,
At some point, did the interview stop?
yes,
And at some point thereafter, did the interview resume again?
yes.
In between the time that the interview stopped and it started, can you tell us what occurred?
I noticed that Mr. Paradas had a very nice television set, and I asked him if we could check the tape I just done, if we could watch it on his TV. And he agreed, but he had to go and change, I don't know, he rehook it up or something.
So did he go into another room at that point?
It was like a little, next to where I was standing, it was like a little bigger than a closet. He had a lot of tapes and cables. He went in there, took some cables, went behind the TV and the VCR and hooked it up.
And then did he do the actual hookup himself for you?
Yes,
Your Honor, I wonder if we could play defense exhibit.
Okay. All right. I get it. She cracked the whole case, guys. That's why OJ is innocent.
1375.
Acquitted. Acquitted.
Mrs. Robertson, do you have 1375? All right.
Marsha's gonna keep going until she gets to play this whole damn tape. You watch.
I'm going to show you a segment of tape and ask if you recognize it, I think.
Did you get a pastry with your coffee? Just asking. A cookie? A bagel? A pastry? 2 eggs over medium home fries, toast, and bacon?
You you recognize this tape, Ms. Ramirez?
Yes.
All right. Is this a videotape you did of Fano Paratus in the company of Hank Goldberg and Steve Oppler on July 27th, 1995?
Yes.
And did you operate the video camera?
Yes.
All right. Now, you see the time there? Is that, you see the time of 3:59 there?
Yes.
No, go ahead. Keep it running. Wait, can we back up for a minute? Just back up to 3:59. Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to conclude my audio tape.
All right.
I'm going to eject this.
Okay, you saw that, 3:59, and then you heard a voice. I'm going to conclude my audio tape.
Yes.
And whose voice was that?
Uppler.
Okay. And then you saw the tape resume at 4:13?
Yes.
What happened in between 3:59 and when you resumed the tape at 4:13?
Mr. Parados hooked up his TV so we could watch the tape. We watched the tape I've just done for a minute or two, probably.
How long did it take for him to hook up the TV so you could watch the tape?
Few minutes, because first he checked that the TV was not hooked up properly. Then he hooked it up. Then he checked that it worked again. Then we played the tape I did. And then Hank said that he had another question. So I had to cue the tape to the end, put the camera back on the tripod, put the tape back in there, and start again.
All right,
But,
so, I'm sorry.
I missed, usually when we videotape somebody, the investigator that is conducting the interview or the DA says that we were off for a few minutes or whatever, and I missed that part on the videotape. So when the tape starts again, Mr. Parados is already answering to the question. So I probably missed, I don't know, up to a minute.
You started the tape a little late, is that
Yes.
right? And you missed the part where Mr. Oppler announced that you had been off tape for a while and you're resuming.
Yes.
And did you miss Mr. Goldberg's question?
Yes.
Is there anything else you missed?
No.
During the time that you were setting up, Mr. Parados was setting up the cable on the television so you could watch the tape, were you talking to him?
To who?
Mr.
Excuse me?
Parados.
I don't remember.
Was anyone questioning him?
Overruled.
No.
Was Mr. Goldberg interviewing him during the time the videotape was off?
No.
Did you discuss anything with Mr. Parados concerning the case?
No.
Did you make any remark to him about his equipment?
Yes.
What was that?
Sustained.
Not for the truth of the matter, Your Honor.
All right. Does this explain subsequent conduct with regards to the television equipment?
Yes.
All right, proceed.
I made a comment about his impressive television set, and he had more than one VCR, at least 4.
And so did that have some impact on the manner in which he was setting up the cables and connecting the TV to the cables?
Sustained. Leading.
I'm sorry. And why were you discussing that?
As part of my job, I work with VCRs and television sets and cameras, so I asked him to play the tape because I wanted to see how it worked.
Okay. Did his system appear complex to you?
Yes.
Was there more than one piece of equipment there?
Yes.
How many pieces of equipment did he have?
It was one television monitor, and I remember that there were at least 4 VCRs, plus some stereo equipment and speakers, receivers.
4 VCRs?
Yes.
So did you discuss that with him?
Overruled. You can answer the question.
I made a comment about his nice equipment. He said he didn't like to miss shows while he was at work.
Now, during the course of that conversation, was he attempting to do anything with respect to the cable, the television, and the VCRs?
Yes, he moved something in the back.
And who was in the room at that time?
Stephen Oppler and Hank Goldberg.
Was anybody asking him questions during that time?
I don't remember.
Was anybody interviewing him concerning the case at that time?
No.
Asked and answered.
Overruled.
Did he have any difficulty hooking up the TV to the correct VCR?
No, really.
Okay. And after he finished the hookup, what happened next?
We watched the tape.
And did you watch the entire tape?
No.
How much did you watch?
Overruled. But we already gotten an answer
Have
to this
we?
question.
I'm sorry.
A minute or so?
Okay, thank you.
Bobby. Bobby, was that case you were talking about, was it in Indiana? Was it Raymond Childs III? Or was it Joseph Oberhansley? I'm going to try to get the trial for you. But I just don't know which one. If you tell me which one, I'll try to get it. All right, so it was Joseph Oberhansley then, if it wasn't Raymond Childs. Probably. The trial was in 2020. Maybe. Or was it someone, do you know who it was?
And after you watched it for a minute or so, then what happened?
Overruled.
I took the tape out of the machine,
And then what
and I
happened?
was starting to put it away as well as my camera and the rest of the equipment. But the DA said that he had another question. So then I had to put the tape back and cue it to the end. But I don't remember if I did it in the camera or on his VCR.
Okay.
But I had to do that. So that probably took another couple of minutes.
And then you indicated, I think before, that you had to set your camera back up again.
Yes,
Then at that point, did you resume the taping of Mr. Paratus?
yes.
And I would like to show the segment, if I may, Defense 1375 again.
Small CC. All right. Well, thanks a lot. Well, you're sure welcome.
Okay, I'm going to conclude my audio tape.
I'm going to inject the small CCs into this syringe. Let's pull out some here.
I wanted to show it to the end if I could.
Yes, the court please.
If I can get that trial, if I can get that trial, we have to wait until you get a gifted membership, because I can't do that public. I have to do it members only. Or I could do it Patreon instead of YouTube. I could do that.
All right, thank you, counsel. Ms. Clark, you wanted to play 1375 to its conclusion at this point?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's proceed.
Thank you.
This syringe now has 12 cc's of water in it.
That was it?
That's it. Let me ask you, Ms. Ramirez, is that the segment that was taped after the 14-minute break?
Yes, but it looks like it didn't, like the end is missing, at least from this copy.
Okay. Do you know how long you went, for how long you videotaped after the 14-minute break?
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember if it was 1 minute versus half an hour? Was it a long time that you went?
Your Honor, it's leading to speculation. She said she doesn't remember.
Overruled.
I remember that it was only one question, so it was very short. I can't tell how long.
So Hank Goldberg asked one question and Mr. Paratus gave that one answer?
Yes,
And that's all that happened?
yes.
Now, did Mr. Goldberg give a set of questions or any written materials to Mr. Paratus during the questioning?
No,
And during the 14-minute break, did he hand Mr. Paratus any written materials or any kind of questions written down on paper?
no,
And did you do any other tape with Mr. Paratus besides this one?
no.
Was there a reason for that?
I don't know.
Did Mr. Goldberg convey to you any concern about Mr. Paratus?
No.
Did you discuss with anybody Mr. Paratus' physical condition?
I don't remember.
Do you remember whether you discussed Mr. Paratus' physical condition with Hank Goldberg?
I don't remember.
Now, today, did Mr. Darden and I go to your office and locate you?
Yes,
And was that at about 4 o'clock today?
I think so.
Where were you? Were you on your way to go somewhere?
I had a dentist appointment. Yes, I was
See.
leaving.
Had we ever contacted you and asked you to testify before 4 o'clock this afternoon?
No,
If we had gotten there at 4:05, would you have been gone to the dentist?
perhaps.
Have we, did we speak to you for about 10 minutes?
Sustained.
How long did we speak to you for? Mr. Darden and I up in your office, how long did we speak to you for?
It was short. I can't remember. I got really nervous when I saw you.
Why was that?
It's irrelevant for...
I like to be.
Well, hold on. Let's move on.
All right, I'm sorry. And after that, Ms. Ramirez, did we bring you down to the courtroom?
Yes,
And did you sit and speak with Mr. Neufeld and Mr. Cochran for about half an hour?
yes,
They asked you all the questions they wanted to ask?
yes,
And you answer all those questions?
yes.
I have nothing further.
Mr. Neufeld.
Just 1 second. Mr. Ramirez, hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You said you were on your way home when, or you were about to leave when you were contacted by Ms. Clark and Mr. Darden?
Yes,
And in fact, just before that, you'd been watching your colleague, Mr. Alpert, testify, is that right?
part.
Okay. And it was while you were listening to Mr. Alpert testifying that a supervisor of yours contacted you?
Yes,
And that would be a deputy district attorney named Ross?
she's an investigator.
Okay. An investigator named Ross?
Yes,
And she made some joking, critical comment of your taping?
yes,
And shortly after that, you were contacted by a deputy district attorney, Ms. Martinez, is that right?
yes,
And as a result of that, you then were spoken to by, after Ms. Martinez, by Ms. Clark and Mr. Darden, is that right?
yes,
The next thing you know, you're down here in the courtroom.
yes,
Okay. Now, back on that day, on the 27th, you remember Ms. Clark asking a few questions a while ago about whether or not Mr. Goldberg told you anything about Mr. Paratus' health. Do you recall Mr. Goldberg telling you that Mr. Paratus had just had a like a bypass or heart surgery this summer? Do you recall something like that? That he had just had heart surgery?
yes, but I don't remember when it was said. He mentioned.
Okay. Now, by the way, just 2 other questions, or 2 other subjects, I'm sorry, Your Honor. During that 14 minutes when the tape wasn't playing, you said that Mr. Paratus got up and gave you a cable. Did he do that?
He didn't give me anything.
Did he stay in the room with you that whole time?
He went into a space that it looked like a big closet and got some cables and hooked up his TV.
And that closet was in the room that you were in?
Yes, it might be a small room.
But you could see what he was doing when he did
Yes,
this?
yes,
Okay. And other than that, he never left the room, did he?
no,
Never left the room to go get a syringe or anything, correct?
I don't remember that.
Oh, well.
To the best of your recollection, he was in the room the whole time?
Yes,
One other matter. Now, although you said to the prosecutor that, to the best of your recollection, Mr. Goldberg did not hand Mr. Paratus any instructions that day, to your knowledge, did Mr. Goldberg...
Yes.
I thought that's what I just said. No.
No, did not hand. Yes. Restate the question.
Sure. Okay. I know that you said a little while ago that, as best you can recall, during that afternoon... By the way, during that 14-minute break, were you primarily concerned with packing and unpacking your equipment?
well, we also watched the tape.
Well, when
Took
you
most
weren't-
of the,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
most of that time was taken by watching the tape and then re-cueing the tape, playing it back to the end.
Does your viewfinder have a playback so you can look through the viewfinder and see the tape?
Yes, but I think I wanted to see how that TV looked like.
But you couldn't simply see whether or not it's been taping by looking through the viewfinder?
Yes, but it's difficult for everybody else to see it. I mean, you cannot. Only one person can. So I thought it was better to just play it back on the big TV.
Right. Now, you had said that Mr. Goldberg did not give, to the best of your recollection, give Mr. Paradas any instructions that day when the tape wasn't playing. Is that right?
He did not.
But you don't know to what extent Mr. Goldberg had prior conversations with Mr. Paradas before he arrived that day. Isn't that correct?
We all came together.
Well, but you don't know whether or not prior to your arrival there that day, either earlier that day or the day before or some other day, Mr. Goldberg had conversations with Mr. Paradas where he explained to him what he wanted to say the day that you arrived.
I don't know.
Yeah, the way it's phrased, it's argumentative.
While you were there, didn't Mr. Goldberg say that he had, or didn't he refer to prior conversations he had had with Mr. Paradas prior to the time you got there on July 27th?
Confusing, vague.
Overruled. Do you understand the question?
It sounds like 3 questions.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Ramirez. Do you remember that day while you were there, Mr. Paradas holding up a subpoena? Do you remember that? Holding up a piece of paper on the tape?
Yes.
Because you've seen the tape several times, haven't
Yes.
you? In fact,
Yes.
you're the person who edited the tape?
Objection. 356 and 352.
Overruled.
Can you repeat
Are
the
you the
question?
person who edited the tape?
Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, you'll recollect, as I instructed you, the editing you saw in the tape was at my direction.
Yes.
All right.
And when Mr. Paradas held up that subpoena, the day you were there on July 27th, he described the conversation he had with Mr. Goldberg back in February, didn't he? About that subpoena.
I don't remember the exact words.
Do you remember Mr. Paradas holding up a piece of paper and saying, "This is the subpoena that Mr. Goldberg gave me"?
Overruled. Overruled. You can answer the question. Do you remember that?
I can only remember the piece of paper.
And do you remember him saying it was a subpoena for Mr. Paradas to come to court back in February? Do you remember that?
No objection. Hearsay, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Not the exact words.
If you saw that portion of the tape, would that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
May I have just a few minutes to do that, Your Honor? Just to cue up that portion?
Objection beyond scope. Your Honor, procedure to refresh the witness's recollection is to show it to the witness.
Perhaps you could step down and she could look at it with Mr. Harrison sitting over there.
Do you have headphones? All right, let's conclude this for the day. We're not going to finish. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our recess for the afternoon session. Please remember all my admonitions to you. Don't discuss the case amongst yourselves. Don't form any opinions about the case. Don't conduct any deliberations until the matter has been submitted to you. Don't allow anybody to communicate with you with regard to the case. We'll stand in recess as far as the jury is concerned until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And Ms. Ramirez, you may step down. You're ordered to come back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. All right? Thank you.
Please play report.
YouTube really annoys me often. I'm trying to find this video for Bobby and it's making me work here.
Is going to move on to the presentation of Mr. Diedrich and Mr. Boziak. Is that correct?
Yes, before addition, Your Honor, I understand that I think we have informed counsel we've got to put on the list at the top.
Mr. Atkins?
With regard to that, it would violate the 3-day rule, but since the people have only 2 other witnesses, we need some time to interview Mr. Atkins, so we'll need some time on that, and probably we'll be ready after that. I spoke briefly with Mr. Darden about the scope of this. We can talk to Mr. Atkins, we may be able to, Mr. Neufield's witness may be ready to proceed on that, but we need some time.
Should be a very brief witness.
All right. May I have an oral estimate? Do the people expect to finish their case either, depending on my cross-examination, by tomorrow at the latest?
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, cross is unpredictable,
But direct.
My proposed direct is not that extensive. I think we should finish it.
My guess is Monday.
You may be right, Your Honor. I mean,
Okay.
I'm optimistic because there is going to be downtime today before we get to the witnesses. Everybody wants to talk to everybody. So that may be true, but, hope springs eternal.
Is today a 6 o'clock day? So you see, we may be able to finish.
Is there any possibility of going past noon tomorrow to finish?
It's possible.
You can.
Let me check, because I don't know what other, I mean, I'm going to be here, so,
I know it's a juror thing.
yeah, let me check and see what plans we've made. I'll check with Deputy Jex to see what other plans, because we may have made doctor's appointments.
With that thought in mind, Your Honor, we will then proceed to try and line up our balance of our witnesses starting Monday. So we'll try not to have...
That'd be a good
time.
idea.
All right, we'll do that.
Your Honor, just one other thing, two other things. Number one, we had made a motion for judicial notice on the phase of the moon on June the 12th, and the court granted that motion, so I'd ask that the court, I don't know if the court has it, I have it with me, the court could read that to the jury prior to the people conditionally resting on the rebuttal. And also, the people have made...
All right, I think what you need to do then is make a formal request in front of the jury that the court take judicial notice of that particular phase of the moon.
Yes, and I just want to make sure that...
Is there any objection? That was a request that was made quite some time ago.
Judicial notice of the phase of the moon on June 12th.
Submitted.
It's the phase of the moon with the word increasing. There was waning, waxing, remember that word?
Mm-hmm.
There was some question about what you were going to do about waning and waxing.
I was going to tell them what the appropriate term is, waning and waxing, and I assume, since that is a common term, the jurors will know what that means.
Anyway, the proposed sentence is here, Your Honor, on June 12th, 1994, the moon was a we have a crescent moon with 12%. Why not just say that on June the 12th, 1994, the moon was a waxing crescent moon with 12% of the moon's surface illuminated?
Fine.
And that will satisfy both sides, I think.
Fine.
And I'll submit that to the court so you have your script in front of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, the people have...
All right, I'm sorry, excuse me. Mr. Carpenter, is that issue submitted?
You know, the problem is, with that, if you recall, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, instead of using the word waxing, I thought we talked about increasing, because see, waxing...
No, the terminology for the phase of the moon, increasing and decreasing in illumination, is waxing and waning.
But you
Everybody knows that.
Not everybody, Your Honor.
Everybody knows. Who in this courtroom doesn't know that?
Yes, a lot of us. See, we just had our focus group, Judge, so we see, my point's proven.
All right, is the matter submitted, Mr. Cochran?
You will take the survey.
Is the matter submitted?
Submitted, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right.
Lastly, on the repeated request for the Stockdale tape, we attempted to get it from the answering machine company as directed by the court. We submitted a letter. I think a copy of it came to the court with a declaration from the person told to us by Ms. Stockdale, who indicated they do not keep copies, they do not any longer have a copy of the tape, which means that under Meredith we're back at our initial starting point, which is that the defense has altered evidence to a point that we can no longer obtain it by our own means, and we requested of the defense by letter, I think sent a couple of weeks ago, to present that tape to us. We would like now to have that tape produced in court.
Who wants to address that for the defense?
I just suggest generally, I think that, if I recall correctly, we'll have to get back to this later perhaps, I think we submitted some declarations to the court under seal regarding this. And I'd like the court to pull those up. I don't have copies of those here. You may recall.
All right, that was during a 1054.7
right.
We need to revisit that because I need to check my notes.
Okay.
All right.
Can we do that today, Your Honor?
Remind me to, maybe during the breaks in between witnesses, I can look that up.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Just for the record, I have just received a letter dated September 13th to Mr. Cochran from James Michael Maddock, Deputy Counsel of the Office of General Counsel of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And as I previously informed the court, this letter indicates that the Bureau does not object to Special Agent Frederick Whitehurst testifying in this matter. Therefore, a subpoena for his presence is unnecessary. I think we probably should just mark this letter and make a copy for it so that that's before the court. Also, I should put on the record what I think I previously informed the court. In this letter, Mr. Maddock indicates that the subpoena that we served for records to the FBI, well, it was a subpoena that we served on Mr. Whitehurst's counsel that was then forwarded to the FBI, was not jurisdictionally valid insofar as it had to go through the federal district court, and we've taken measures to do that, and that he is also, it's not reflected in the letter, but he's also agreed, and Mr. Whitehurst, Dr. Whitehurst has agreed to an interview with both sides in this case with a court reporter present, and hopefully we can arrange that by Saturday. And then further discovery can ensue from that, but we're pursuing the records, and I just thought that we should make this letter part of the record so it's clear.
All right, yesterday the defense filed and then withdrew that out-of-state subpoena request. And Mrs. Robertson, did you send that down to the main file? All right, it's up here. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let's have the jury, please. continue.
Good morning, Mr. Ramirez.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Ramirez, I'll try and make this brief so you can get on to the dentist, where you started to head for yesterday afternoon. You recall that before we broke yesterday, ma'am, that I asked you if you were aware whether Mr. Goldberg had prior conversations, that is, prior to the July 27th, 1995 taping session with Mr. Paratus. Do you recall me asking you that, or that subject coming up?
Yes.
Okay. And after we broke yesterday, did you have an opportunity, and this morning as well, to review portions of that videotape, the complete videotape that you made on July 27th, to refresh your recollection?
I saw a portion of the tape.
Okay. And let me ask you this. Now, let me ask you again. Did you become aware during the July 27th taping session in Mr. Paratus' home that, in fact, on a prior occasion, Mr. Goldberg had met with Mr. Paratus at the dispensary where Mr. Paratus works at the jail?
Yes.
Overruled.
And did you also become aware during that July 27th taping that Mr. Goldberg had also spoken to Mr. Paratus sometime in February and given Mr. Paratus a subpoena to appear in court during this trial as a prosecution witness?
Yes.
Now, I'd like to play.
Counsel, we need to have the objections before the answer comes in.
Your Honor, I'm going to play two brief segments, and I reviewed it first with Ms. Clark before we started.
All right.
The first segment. I'm going to ask you to look at this segment, and I'm going to ask you to authenticate it. Okay?
Okay.
That's all right. No, can't remember. That's all right. Oh, it's 4:77. But anyway, it was in February. First week of February.
Yeah, so it was that day that, because I had called you, and in the meantime, I had heard from Patty Joe that you wanted to talk to me. So I asked you to come down to the dispensary.
Okay. And did you? Can't remember.
All right. Let's hold that. Is that the portion of the tape that you wanted, Mr. Neufeld?
No,
Well, no, the question is yes or no, is that the tape that you wanted
yes,
to
that's
show?
the portion of the tape. Could we just play that portion one more time again very quickly? I'm sorry. It happened so quickly that I missed it.
No, can't remember. That's all right.
Let me see counsel the sidebar without the court report. The record should reflect, though, that the portion, hold the tape. The record should reflect the portion that we've just viewed as the counters at 350 and 351. Let me see counsel without.
I apologize, Your Honor. It'll take 1 minute. We just have to switch the tapes.
for us or demonstrated for us, did you then call the DA's office to tell us what had happened, or to try to tell us what had happened?
Yes.
And then I spoke to you, when was that?
You spoke to me the day you brought me the subpoena. And that's the day I told you.
Did I have a copy of that? February 3rd?
February 7th is when he came to see me.
Oh, it's for February 7th. But anyway, it was in February. First week of February.
Yeah, so it was that day that, because I had called you, and in the meantime, I had heard from Patty Joe that you wanted to talk to me. So I asked you to come down to the dispensary.
Okay. And did you go through the same demonstration that you just showed for the camera today when I was at the dispensary? No.
Let's just see that, and let's go back about 20 seconds.
Dispensary.
All right.
Camera today when I was at the dispensary. Okay, that's all right.
Okay. Thank you. All right. By the way, there's a reference there to Patty Joe. Do you know who Patty Joe is?
Yes.
And who is that?
She's secretary for the lawyers.
You mean the
District Attorney's
attorneys?
office. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And on that tape, I'm sorry, and on that occasion, when there's that reference to Mr. Goldberg, that's not Mr. Goldberg's voice you hear on the tape?
Yes.
And
Mr. Ramirez, why don't you just pull the microphone closer to you so you don't have to keep leaning forward? Thank you.
now, during that session, during that session, they were discussing a prosecution subpoena that was given to Mr. Paratus in early February of 1995.
He shoots him. No. Ah, nice try, Zach. Nice try.
You recall that?
Yes.
During the July
Thank you.
27th, 1995
Thank you very
taping
much.
session, ma'am, did the topic come up at all as to why during the 4 months Mr. Paratus was never brought in as a prosecution witness?
Sustain. Sustain. It's argumentative, counsel.
Okay, 1 second.
You might hear a noise for a second. Ignore it.
There is a
mute it.
gunshot hole.
There we go.
Now that you've seen the tape again, to refresh your recollection, Mr. Ramirez, when Mr. Goldberg asked Mr. Paratus about Mr. Goldberg's visit to the dispensary where Mr. Paratus worked, and you saw Mr. Paratus mouth the words, remember that?
Yes.
Was Mr. Paratus, as you recall, having been there, was he mouthing the words, "I don't remember"?
I couldn't tell.
But what Mr. Paratus was doing was responding to Mr. Goldberg, trying to talk to him about Mr. Goldberg's earlier visit with Mr. Paratus at the dispensary. That's when it came up, didn't it?
It's argumentative. Sustain.
Good luck at the dentist, ma'am. Thank you.
Clark, anything further?
There's such a thing as possible.
Now you're going to get all the dentists mad at us. Ms. Clark.
Not all of
Mr.
them,
Mayor, so it's
Judge.
clear.
Just 9 out of
During
10.
the 14 minutes that the videotape
4
was
out of
off,
5.
did anyone question Mr. Paratus about the case?
No.
At any time, did Mr. Goldberg suggest to Mr. Paratus what he should say?
No.
5 out of 4 people are bad at math.
Overruled.
And
Recross.
right,
Ask your
that's it.
question.
Answer your question. And Mr. Paratus indicated to Mr. Goldberg that he called Hank Goldberg. He was the one who called Hank.
Counsel, I think the tape, we've heard the tape, we've heard Mr. Paratus' words.
Okay. It was just foundation. But did the defense ever ask you to go and videotape Mr. Paratus for them?
No.
Would you have done so if they'd asked you?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustain.
This-
It's irrelevant.
Nothing further.
Ms. Ramirez, you work for the district attorney's office, don't you?
Yes.
You don't work for the defense, do you?
No.
Thank you.
Did you sit and speak with the defense this morning at their request?
Yes.
And did you watch all the tape they wanted you to watch?
Yes.
And would you have refused a reasonable request to help them if they'd made it?
Oh, objection.
Sustain. All right. Mr. Ramirez, thank you very much. You're excused. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ramirez. All right. Ms. Clark, people's next witness is who?
People's next witness should be Mr. Diedrich, and the defense wants to talk to him. So.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the next witness is, the prosecution is going to recall Mr. Diedrich. If you recollect, Mr. Diedrich testified earlier in the case. Yesterday, the court received a number of exhibits from various sources from outside of the state of California. The attorneys have asked for the opportunity to look at these items before we proceed with Mr. Diedrich's testimony. They've asked me for a 1-hour recess between this witness and the next witness so that they can examine those photographs and exhibits that will probably be used in the examination of the witness. So we're going to take about a 1-hour recess at this time. I'm going to keep you, I'm going to put you up in...
Oh, here's where the law is unfair. I would give anything to see the jury's faces right now. I bet they are just staring daggers at all the attorneys right now. Maybe Judge Ito.
In the larger lounge upstairs, but I'm hoping to complete the presentation of the prosecution's rebuttal case by either tomorrow or Monday. All right, so these will be probably the last 3 or 4 witnesses that we'll be presenting for the prosecution's case in rebuttal, just to let you know that we're making progress. And the reason I'm keeping you here is because I want to use as much time with you as possible. So as soon as the attorneys tell me they've had the opportunity to look at these items, we'll reconvene with you here in court. All right, with that, we'll take a
7
recess.
hours
Counsel, I'd like you
later.
to let me know as soon as you are ready to proceed. If you need the court's assistance on any of these matters, let me know, and I'll review the Stockdale matters while we're in recess. All right? All right, we're in recess.
23 hours later. 4 weeks later.
Mr. Darden? Ms. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, who's your next witness?
Mr. Diedrich.
All right.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Mr. Scheck, who's back in the back room now, still working with Mr. Bodziak, was under the expectation they were going to call Mr. Atkins first, which I think was the court's expectation also and all of our expectations.
No, it wasn't.
So he's going to use this additional 15, 20 minutes to keep working with Bodziak. That's what they're doing. I mean, I understand it's up to them, but they did tell us that, and all I'm simply saying is if they still
they
intend to call
didn't.
Atkins, it should be done right now to give us that additional 15 minutes.
We were all just here 30 hours ago when they said they were going to go over this stuff and call Dietrich or whatever his name is. His name is, don't know. Oh, yeah, Dietrich. Douglas Dietrich. That's who they said they were going to call.
You promised me it's only going to take 15 minutes.
Oh, I have no idea how long it's going to take, Your Honor. I'm just telling you that that's what Mr. Scheck is
All right,
doing
Ms.
right
Clark,
now.
are you willing to call Mr. Atkins at this time?
No, we're not going to call him, period.
Okay.
If I was going to call him at all, of course I would call him now.
All right.
We want to get this
Call him.
done.
No.
You need it.
All right, so you're going to call him.
Mr. Diedrich.
All right, who's going to handle Mr. Diedrich?
Barry Scheck is, and he's also going to be handling Mr. Bodziak, and that's why he's been seeing both of them.
All right. No Atkins. We're going to start with Mr. Diedrich.
You just have a few more minutes with Mr. Bodziak, but you might as well start with Mr. Diedrich, and I can get that time done. How's that?
Perfect. All right, let's go.
Just give me a second.
Let's go.
Are we going to just sit here and watch Ito this
All right,
whole
let's have it
time?
quiet, please. Counsel, why don't you be seated? Mrs. Robertson, did we ever issue a warrant for Brenda Harper?
Oof. We start off with a sidebar right away.
The delay, but we're ready. Let the record reflect that we've been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the delay, but we're ready to get up and running now. Ms. Clark, you
All
may
right.
call your next witness.
It looks like there's no sidebar while I'm driving. I gotta go. I'll be back real soon. There is
All right,
this
Mr. Diedrich,
one
you
little
solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give before this
sidebar
court shall be the truth, the whole
that you
truth,
have
and
to
nothing
sit
but the truth,
through.
so help you God.
Little.
All right, have a seat, sir. And would you please state and spell your name for the record again, please?
My name is Douglas W. Diedrich. Diedrich is spelled D-E-E-D-R-I-C-K.
Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Agent Diedrich, you've previously testified in this case as an expert with regard to hair and fiber comparisons that you made in this case, correct?
That's right.
Now, you've also testified regarding the fabric samples you received from the victims in this case, correct?
That's right.
Do you have any experience, or have there been many cases in which you've examined, you've There have been many cases that you've been involved in, sir, that caused you to do fabric analysis in the FBI laboratory in the past.
Right. Fabric analysis is very common because it's the type of material that is submitted for examination most of the time, whether it's fabric damage, where you have to reconstruct pieces of fabric or determine what type of material, a knife or a bullet or a club or some other type of instrument may have caused the damage to the fabric. Fabric is examined for the presence of fiber composition and also design, construction. So fabric is commonly examined in our unit.
Have you done any work to do fabric matching?
Well, fabric matching is another type of exam that's done where fabric may be recovered from a victim, such as the bindings or wrappings around the hands of a victim found at a crime scene, and that fabric might need to be compared with pieces of fabric left in the suspect's car or found in the suspect's residence. He may have stripped off pieces of a bed sheet or a pillowcase so that he could prepare bindings for the victim. In so doing, in tearing that fabric, each tear is unique, so that it's possible to physically match the piece of fabric from the victim or from the crime scene with the piece of fabric taken from his own residence.
Have you ever done any work to determine fabric damage, to determine the kind of weapon that made the damage?
Well, fabric damage is important as well when the question is, could this particular knife have caused, or this particular weapon have caused the damage in the fabric? Again, it may be used, this type of work may be used in conjunction with the fiber comparison. That is, if you find fibers on the knife that exhibit the same characteristics as the fibers from the victim's own clothing, then you can use that information coupled with the type of damage that fabric has incurred. You can determine if it's a single-bladed knife, double-edged knife, the size of the knife. These are determinations that can be made. And again, there's some flexibility there because there's actions involved in stabbings, for instance.
Can we approach, Runner? Already?
All right, Ms. Clark.
All right, sir, have you ever done any work in cases involving fabric pattern and comparisons?
Yes, I have.
Can you explain to us what that means?
Well, fabric imprint comparisons are where an incident may occur or contact may occur between a fabric and another surface. And this contact may result in leaving an indication that the contact occurs, such as an imprint pattern. There might be some material that's on the surface of the fabric, like blood or some other grease, and then when the fabric comes in contact with the surface, it may leave an indication of how that surface of the fabric looks. Another type of imprint transfer may be where an individual leans up against a surface like siding on a house and may pick up some of the dust from the surface. An impression may be left as well in the dust. Most of the cases that I've looked at over the years have been relating to hit-and-run cases, where victims have been struck with vehicles and the clothing has actually made an impression of some type in the vehicle, whether it's on the bumper, on the fender, on the windshield. But there are many different types of cases that could involve imprint examination. Burglaries, someone crawling through a window, leaving an imprint pattern from the clothing of the pants or the shirt in the putty around the window or on the windowsill. Bullets, as they pass through fabric, may actually pick up the fabric imprint pattern on the nose of the bullet in the lead. Tape that's often used to bind victims or for disguises may have an imprint pattern, not just fingerprints. They may use gloves, but they may also leave imprint patterns on the tape or on the adhesive surface. So this is just another piece of this puzzle that we work with in a forensic laboratory to try to get the information for a case.
Now, have you ever examined fabric imprints where blood was the mechanism, was the liquid that was imprinted?
I can't recall specifically if I worked a case where blood was imprinted. It's hard to believe I haven't. Most of the imprint patterns that I've looked at have been involved with transfers like on vehicles. And in those instances, they often bleed quite a bit, and they may even bleed on impact. So it's possible that I have, yes.
And when you say bleed on impact, are you talking about hit-and-run cases?
On a hit-and-run case, yes. I've looked at situations where weapons may have been concealed in fabric items, like a bag or a pillowcase, or wrapped up in clothing. And so there you have an imprint of the weapon on that clothing, but there also may be an imprint back onto that particular weapon from the blood, that originally came from the knife or some weapon.
Okay. Now, have you ever examined clothing or fabric items where imprint patterns have been formed from other clothing items? In other words, an imprint made on a shirt from a pair of pants being impressed on them, or an imprint from a pair of pants onto a shirt.
I've seen it on sheets, not so much on clothing. It's not common for me to look at casework and even concern myself with that, because that is generally not an issue. Most of the concerns of this type of examination involve like breaking and entering, hit and run. You may have some tape exams. But I have seen fabric impressions on sheets in murder cases, I believe, and also in rape cases.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain to us why you usually don't see or get involved in analyses that have to do with one piece of clothing impressed on another piece of clothing?
I didn't quite follow that exactly.
Okay. You indicated that usually it's when you have fabric on fabric impressions that you're looking to identify. It's because you have a fabric impression on a sheet, or maybe it involves fabric tape that's used to bind a victim or something like that. It's not usually an article of clothing on another article of clothing.
It's fine leading.
No, usually it's not. We're not concerned so much with whether or not the fabrics made contact by looking for fabric-type imprints or impressions. If they're going to make contact, we're going to be looking for the hair, the fiber evidence, and maybe some blood evidence. And that's going to be the main focus of the laboratory, not so much looking to see if a piece of fabric may have scraped across it, because many of these are not as definitive, because fabric on fabric often leaves a very limiting type indication or limiting marks.
In other words, even if you had a suspect's clothing worn at the time of the crime, if you found an imprint that may be consistent, you still couldn't identify. I'm sorry. Even if you found a suspect's clothing at the time of the crime, would you be able to say, in most cases, whether it came from that clothing to the exclusion of all others?
Objection calls for speculation.
No, it's not possible to take most fabric cases, fabric-type examinations, and say, absolutely, this fabric made this imprint on a sheet or on another, even on a bumper of a car. It's not possible to say absolutely. Where you may be able to come up with more definitive conclusions would be where there's been some defect in the fabric, or there's some unusual characteristic, some design, some unusual design, or perhaps an emblem or an embossed label or something that is very unusual, and this made an imprint on a surface. Then it becomes a little more unique. But most fabrics don't leave imprints that are that significant. Where fabrics may have some value is where you have some raised surface, something that may give you an imprint pattern.
Would you say, sir, that the fabric imprint examinations in a forensic laboratory are relatively common?
Very common, very common.
In that respect, sir, are fabric impression comparisons part of the larger family of imprint examinations?
Yes, they are.
Can you explain what that means, what you mean by that?
Well, imprint examinations, as I said, are very common in a laboratory. In our laboratory, we have different units that do different things. Tool marks. At a point of entry, they may leave an imprint or an impression of that tool in a window or on a lock. In shooting cases, you may have the impressions, lands and grooves that are impressed on the surface of the bullet as it passes out the barrel. You may have fingerprints, obviously, that's one. Shoe prints, tire treads, something that may have been left behind that you're trying to link back up to that particular crime. Fabric is just another one. If the surface of the fabric comes in contact with another surface and it is in a condition that it can leave something behind, then we compare it. And since we do hair and fiber fabric examinations in our unit, we're the ones responsible for most of those types of exams.
Now, are you familiar with a man by the name of Bill Botiak?
I am, yes.
And who is he, sir?
He's an agent in the shoe print unit of the document section.
And are you aware of what his job description is, what he does?
Well, he's a supervisory special agent. He's responsible for looking at shoe prints of different types. And I think he's done some tires and some other miscellaneous document work over the years.
If an impression is determined to be a shoe print, do you examine it?
No.
Does he examine it?
Yes, and we have cases that come into our unit where no request is made that a shoe print is visible, and I take it right to him.
So if you think that a shoe print may be involved, you pass it to him, correct?
I pass it along, and it's not always a requested exam.
To his qualifications to determine Mr. Shupin?
And sir, conversely, if there's an imprint that appears to be a fabric impression, who does it go to for examination and analysis?
Well, they generally ask me to do it because I've been there a while.
How many cases have you done that involved the comparison of fabric impressions?
Probably 100 or more cases, either working by me directly or as a consulting with other examiners. Every time an examiner has a case like this, they consult me on it.
In your experience, sir, have you found that different kinds of fabric have different distinctive features to them?
Yes, they can be very distinctive.
Can you describe some of the features that you look for in determining whether or not an impression is left by a particular type of fabric?
Well, different types of fabrics, whether they're woven or knitted, may leave a pattern depending on the surface characteristics. That is, the design of the fabric may be such that there may be raised areas that may absorb a certain material and may leave that upon contact with another surface. Twill slacks, for instance, like blue jeans, that's not uncommon to see blue jean type impressions or imprint patterns on a lot of different items because it's a raised rib fabric and it's a common fabric. In hit and run cases that I've worked, a lot of blue jeans have struck bumpers.
Did you prepare a board to allow the jury to see some examples of different kinds of fabric impressions?
I did.
I have a board here, Your Honor, that has been shown to everyone. I see Mark Peoples next in order.
All right, people, 618. Is that correct, Mrs. Robertson?
Mr. Why don't you step down? You want to take the order?
618. Ms. Clark.
For the record, on this board are 6 photographs. Each of them is labeled with the kind of fabric that it is, so we will not have to use A, B, C, D.
All right.
If you would, sir, please point to whichever photograph you choose to begin with to explain to the jury what you were attempting to depict with these photographs. When you do that, would you please identify the photograph by the name of the fabric that you put on there?
All right. The first thing right off you see is this front porch down here, and that's not a fabric. I have brushed surface area on the front porch, and I wanted to see what kind of imprint pattern that might leave. So I just put a little food coloring down and wiped it across with some typing paper, just to give you an idea of how this might look if it left an imprint pattern or something came upon it. The other fabrics include a gabardine up in the upper left. The pattern it leaves, it looks like a bunch of dots, but if you look closely, it almost has a diagonal type of row pattern to it. The corduroy is, again, a raised type fabric with ribs. It'll leave this particular pattern. Twill pants, just beneath it here. Dockers are good examples. There's many different types of manufacturer labels that use twill pants. This differs from blue jeans on the left simply by the fineness of the rows. That is, these ribs are closer together, and you see that on blue jeans. They're a little bit coarser, and they tend to have these ribs a little further apart. I took one of the lab towels that we have in the unit and did an imprint pattern of it, and you can see kind of a unique, a different appearance. And that's just the design of the surface of the towel. And all this was, I did this for was just to give you an idea of varied types of patterns that you may have between 5 fabrics and a front porch.
Now, I forgot to ask you one critical thing here, sir. Were there some items of evidence that you examined in this case to which your examinations are relevant with respect to your knowledge of fabric impressions?
Yes.
And what was it you examined from the evidence in this case concerning fabric impressions?
Well, I examined Ron Goldman's jeans, shirt. There was an envelope that originally contained some glasses. It was found at the crime scene, and a photograph of a piece of paper that was from the crime scene.
All right.
Ms. Clark, are you
Let
done
me-
with this exhibit?
Yeah, I'm going to take it. All right, now, you indicated that you looked at Ron Goldman's jeans and his shirt in this case, correct?
I did.
Now, did you also look at photographs of those two items, sir?
Yes, I did.
When you looked at those photographs, were there photographs of different magnifications made of the jeans and the shirt?
Yes.
Okay, let's focus on the jeans for a moment. Did you prepare a chart showing the photographs of Ron Goldman's jeans at different magnification levels?
Right. The chart has a complete image of the genes, and it's actually less than 1-to-1. It was reduced just to fit onto the developing paper. And then there are two other photographs that are 1-to-1 from about the pocket area down to the bottom.
Maybe I'll just show that chart now. Sorry. People's 619, Your Honor?
All right, people 619.
I think a picture is going to make it easier. If you wouldn't mind stepping down to explain to the jury what you're showing in these photographs.
Okay, as I said, this one on the left, this photograph, shows you the blue jeans here, identified as coming from the victim, Ron Goldman. What I did was I circled, it might be difficult to see here, Hank. Thanks. There's two circles that I made on the right side of the right leg that I was interested in because there appeared to be some type of pattern imprint. These photographs on the right, that's about 1-to-1. That's about the actual size of the right leg. And these circled areas, this one circle on the top is broken down into two areas, and the circle at the bottom is depicted on the bottom photograph.
Now, so the areas that you have circled here are the areas of interest to you?
Right, because there does appear to be some type of pattern imprint present on the leg.
Now, was your attention directed to those areas by someone?
Yes,
And by whom?
by Mr. Poziak.
And so he had already examined it by the time he gave it to you?
Yes, he's the one that initiated the photographs. I had not seen the blue jeans except for very early on in this particular case, and I had not seen them since. So he showed me these photographs.
Now, when he passed them on to you, did you, after examining them, make some preliminary observations concerning what you thought they depicted?
Well, I wasn't quite sure what they depicted initially. It did appear to be some parallel type lines going in different directions. In the top circle, in the middle circle, and going down from right to left, and also down vertical type lines that were present down just below the knee area. I wasn't quite sure what they were.
Did you have some test impressions submitted to you for comparison to these impressions that you see on these jeans?
Yes, I had test imprint patterns submitted from the blue jeans as well as from Ron Goldman's shoe and Ron Goldman's shirt.
And when we say test impressions, could you explain to the jury what that is and how it's done?
Well, a test pattern can be prepared a number of different ways. Years ago, ink pads were very commonly used, and they still are. I mean, ink pads do work pretty well. So that many of the original imprint tests that were prepared from fabric were done with ink. And again, as I say, you can still use that. But there's another system that's been developed in the market. It's called the identicator, and it's a chemical that has a pad, and the fabric is blotted into it, and then it's pressed onto some treated paper. And the treated paper reacts with the chemical real quick, and it will leave the imprint pattern of that fabric. This particular system can be used for shoes. It can be used for a lot of different things. Because it's a chemical that reacts with the paper based upon the pressure.
Okay, so when you make that impression of a piece of fabric, do you wind up with kind of like what looks like a fingerprint of the fabric?
Right, you'll get an exact kind of a mirror image of it, or negative of the surface of that material that you're looking at. For instance, the ribbed blue jeans, the ribs that set out a little bit further from the fabric, they will appear to be dark on the identicator.
Now, once you've performed that, once you have a test impression, what do you do with the area the imprint that is questioned, that you're trying to determine the source of?
Rephrase the question.
What do you do? Didn't I say that? I didn't say. Okay. What do you do after you have the test impression created in order to compare it to the questioned imprint on the evidence?
Well, these are compared visually, side by side. Again, making sure that you start with 1x, that is 1-to-1, and you can do a visual comparison. Sometimes it's not possible to see as much at 1-to-1, so you may have to photograph it, enlarge it to where it's clear, and then do a comparison that way. You may need to make overlays if you think it's necessary. But most of these are just visual comparisons and also making some measurements.
Now, did you also make your own test impressions of the genes in this case?
I did.
Before I get to that, sir, if I may ask you, after you did the test, you compared the test impressions of Ron Goldman's genes to the questioned imprint areas on his genes. Did you form some opinion concerning the possible source of that imprint?
Okay, the genes and the genes I didn't do. I compared the shirt with the jeans.
I'm sorry. Let me back up. In this case, you compared, did you also prepare test impressions of Ron Goldman's shirt?
Yes, I did.
Before you prepared your own test impressions of his shirt, did you have in your possession test impressions of the shirt prepared by someone else?
Yes, I did.
And did you compare those test impressions to the questioned area of imprint on the jeans?
I did.
And did you form some opinion at that time concerning the possible source of the imprint you saw on the jeans, which you've circled on People's 618?
Yes, I did.
Later, at some point after that, did you also make your own test impressions using the identicator of Ron Goldman's shirt?
I did, yes.
And did you then compare those test impressions also to the questioned imprint areas on Ron Goldman jeans circled on People's 618?
I did. I compared both. The test that I made, I compared with the original test, plus I compared them with the imprint patterns that are present on the jeans.
Counsel, I think you may have misspoken yourself. I think this is 619 is the gene
Thank you.
exhibit.
Thank you. 619. May I ask that when I said 618 in these last two questions, I meant 619. All right. Now, after those comparisons were done, and were these one-on-one comparisons, by the way?
Well, they were, yes. The latest ones were one-on-one.
And the earlier ones were?
They were up to 4x, 4 times.
And what opinion did you form, sir?
Well, that the pattern that was prepared from the test imprint of the shirt could have produced the imprint patterns or the parallel lines that are present on the jeans, located mainly in this top circle. Down in the middle circle here on the right-hand side of the photograph, lines that are also very similar, and down here at the knee area. But by far, the best ones were right above the knee area on the right side of the pants. Do you have an opinion, sir, as to the type of movement that would have caused the imprint that you circled on People's 619 on Ron Goldman's jeans? Well, it could be a swiping type movement, very easily it could have been that, or a flat imprint. But I believe more likely it probably was a swiping type in the direction of the rib on the shirt.
Now, I want to ask you another question, sir, and for that you can retake the witness stand. Do you see commonly variations between the test impression taken from an article of fabric and the questioned imprint to which you may find to be consistent with that fabric?
Yes, you'll always find some variation.
And why is that?
Well, because the act of transferring an imprint onto a surface during an actual living event is affected by the amount of force, the movement of the individuals, the duration of the contact, the force of the contact, directionality of it, if it's twisted or slid. And when you make a test imprint, you're trying to recreate it as best you can, but there's no way to know exactly what happened during the initial event or when a crime has been committed. Without having a videotape and actually seeing it occur, you don't know. So you try to do your best to recreate various movements or pressures that you put onto that treated paper.
Let me ask you a question, sir. Fabric typically is stretchy. It bends, correct?
Fabric is flexible, yes.
When fabric is worn on a person's body is generally not flat like a board or a table or a piece of paper.
That's right. Common sense.
Right. When you make a test impression with fabric, what do you impress it on a rounded surface?
No, it's flat.
Like a leg or something?
No, it's flat. It's on a flat surface.
And the surface that you make the impression on, is that another piece of fabric?
No, it's on a piece of paper or on a table.
So it's on so using the piece of paper that's flat on a table, can you say, first of all, whether or not the paper has the same kind of absorbency as fabric?
No, you can't.
And so it's flat and it's a different absorbency. Also, is there any way that you can that you try to stretch the fabric or pull it to show how it's going to look different if bent or stretched in any particular manner when you make the impression?
Well, sometimes you can place a finger in one area and stretch the fabric and make an imprint pattern that way. That may be more characteristic of fabric that's at the elbow, or if it's on gloves at the knuckles, or if it's on pants at the knee area, because these are the areas that often get worn, and they also often are flexed a little bit more. So an imprint pattern that's taken from in a situation like that on a twill fabric or blue jean type fabric, often you'll see that the ribs are a little bit further apart. Whereas if you press it flat, turn the fabric in a little bit, it can make these ribs a little bit closer together. So it's a test that you're conducting, and you do your best to try to recreate an actual event, but you never really can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know necessarily how much force was applied during the commission of a crime to cause a fabric imprint to be made?
In some instances, if you know how fast a car's going, I mean, you could know then.
Could you ever duplicate that force in making your test impression?
Well, you'd probably have to find some dummy wearing some clothes standing out there wanting to be hit. Maybe that would be one way to do it, because you have to have some resistance, and the resistance to that impact would have to be some mannequin or dummy that. And I don't think you could even do it then, because obviously the victim of a hit-and-run case may be aware, may not be aware, may be running, may be ducking, may be jumping. So I don't know if you could even recreate it then.
But the bottom line is, sir, that are there a number of variables that occur when an actual imprint is made on fabric during the commission of a crime that cannot be completely duplicated in making your test impression?
Right, there's many variables.
Nevertheless, would you ever render an opinion as to whether or not a specific kind of article of clothing made a questioned imprint on a piece of evidence without having a test impression?
No, I would never attempt to do that. I would try my best to recreate what type of pattern a fabric may have or an object may have before I conducted a comparison.
Would you be willing to dismiss the possibility that any particular item of clothing may have made an imprint on a piece of evidence at a crime scene without having seen a test impression of that item to compare it to the questioned imprint?
I think in some instances, if you have an unusual enough pattern, I think you might be able to do that. But I'd really want to do it just to be scientifically accurate as much as possible. You'd want to show people that, in fact, these do make different test patterns. But with blue jeans and some other fabrics, I would want to do that because, like twill pants, blue jean pants, you may want to make sure that the ribs and so forth are similar. So I'd want to make sure I did a test pattern.
Now, are you aware, sir, that Dr. Lee testified during the defense case to certain imprints on Ron Goldman's blue jeans?
I heard some of that testimony, yes.
Are you aware, sir, that he, in his testimony, excluded the possibility that Ron Goldman's shirt could have made any of those imprints?
I remember that, yes.
Are you also aware, sir, that he made no test impressions prior to, and made no comparisons between test impressions and the questioned imprint prior to arriving at his conclusions?
I'm not sure if I recall hearing that.
Hypothetically speaking, sir, if under those facts, that is, a questioned imprint on a pair of jeans and a victim's shirt of the type that Ron Goldman wore, if that shirt were to be excluded by an expert as having made the imprint on the jeans without having any test impressions to compare to the questioned imprint from Ron Goldman's shirt, what would your opinion be of that scientific procedure?
Well, I think it's inadequate. I think you really need to do as much as you can as far as trying to recreate a pattern to compare it to. I don't know how you can make a statement like that without knowing what kind of pattern the shirt actually makes. I think you need to do it.
Now, did you examine the board created by the defense, known as 1339?
Yes, I did. I think they made assistant exhibit. This is defense 1339.
All right. Mrs. Robertson, is there anything that is not appropriate? I'm sorry, Ms. Clark, is there anything that's not appropriate on this exhibit?
No, it's fine. You don't have to cut the feet on this one, I don't think. Black and white photographs of the jeans
Thank you.
without any.
Ms. Clark?
So we have here defendants 1339. Have you looked at this board previously?
Yes, I have.
Why, you probably need to step down with the pointer. All right, now the area that is designated with the red numbers 1, 2, and 3, the areas that are designated, have you examined those areas on this photograph on Defense 1339?
I have, yes.
Have you also then examined the pullouts 1, 2, and 3 in the blow-up photographs on this board that purport to be the locations designated by the red arrows and numbers on this overall shot of the jeans?
Yes, I examined all of these imprint photographs.
Now, with respect to imprint number 1, do you have any observations regarding that designated area?
No, it seems to be accurate. I mean, you'd have to turn this photograph on its side because this area here at the bottom, this dark area, represents the dark area on the right side of the jeans. But it represents the area that's depicted.
With respect to imprint number 2, the pullout over here is represented to be the upper right knee area on the overall picture of the jeans. Do you have an observation with respect to that imprint?
Well, it's not quite positioned by the arrow. It's in the general area, but this particular pattern here is actually located right in this area.
And for the record, the witness is pointing to a location that is approximately 1 inch down and maybe a quarter inch in, that is towards the right-hand side as you face it, more towards the center of the knee. So where the arrow is pointing to as number 2 is not really where that pattern is.
It's section. Oh. Yeah, it's pointing towards it, but the arrow doesn't land on it. I mean, it's in the general area.
And with respect to number 3, imprint number 3, do you have any observations with respect to that imprint, sir?
Well, number 3 is just not right at all. 3 is located right up in this area.
And for the record, the witness has pointed to what is actually on the same side as the red number 2 and up about 2 inches, where there seems to be a blotch of dark substance on what would...
Appears to be adjacent from the label on the ruler, that is to the left.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Then, based on your examination, sir, imprint number 3, as designated on the inside of the jean, was not there at all.
No, this particular pattern, if you superimposed it, you would see that this is the area of interest, and that's the area that I was focusing on, so I recognized it right off.
And when the witness said this is the area of interest, for the record, Your Honor, he pointed again to the area adjacent to the label on the ruler. That's on the left-hand side of the jeans as you face them. Now, with respect to imprint number 2 and imprint number 3, sir, are they the same level of magnification?
They don't appear to be. No, the imprint number 2 appears to be a higher magnification. And this is just based upon the size of the ribs. The ribs on imprint number 3 are smaller. And imprint number 2, they're much larger. Of course, the exposure, as you can see, they're a little more washed out on imprint number 2.
Is there a problem with that?
Well, if you're trying to compare patterns or compare two things, you'd want to have them magnified about the same. I mean, it's like comparing hairs, fibers, or anything. If you're comparing them, you should be comparing them using the same parameters. And imprint patterns would be one way to do that.
Why should you be comparing them at the same level of magnification?
Well, just so you're correct. You wouldn't want to give someone the idea that it's something when it actually isn't. You want to represent the evidence as accurately as possible.
When you the more you magnify, what impact does that have on how much space there appears to be between the ribbing?
Well, if as you magnify an image, you're going to increase the distance between objects, obviously. The object will get larger, the space between objects will get larger. The ribbed pattern, the lines that are present on imprint number 2 on the lower left-hand corner will increase in size between them. That is, if you're comparing it to something that perhaps like imprint number 3, these lines appear close together. It's not unreasonable that both of them were produced perhaps by a similar type material.
So by putting in different photographs of different areas at different levels of magnification, might it occur that an imprint, a questioned imprint, might appear to look similar, two questioned imprints might appear to look similar when they really aren't, because the spacing is misrepresented by the magnification?
Sustained. Phrase the question.
Can the use of different levels of magnification on two different imprints have some impact on... Strike that. Let me try it again. Can the use of two different levels of magnification on two different imprints create a misimpression with respect to whether or not they were made by the same source or same item?
I think it goes to what message or what you're trying to say, what point you're trying to make. If you're trying to show two things are from the same source, then you would want to represent it under the same conditions, the same magnification. It's misleading to take something that's very small and magnify it up to something that's very big, if that's what you're interested in comparing it to. Because if you really don't know anything about it, you might think that the small thing looks like the big thing, when in reality they could never be the same.
Now, with respect to the imprint that you identified on the jeans as being consistent with Ron Goldman's shirt, can you show us where on the overall photograph that imprint was?
The imprint pattern on the full photograph on the left of the blue jeans that I thought was by far the best, and there were several in several different directions, were located on just above the knee on the right-hand side, on the outside of the jeans.
Would that be the area where imprint 3 should be designated on this photograph?
Right. You would take imprint 3, turn it up, and move it right over here, and that would be the area which is just above the knee, right above on the right-hand side of the pants.
And that was the area that you found to be consistent with the shirt of Ron Goldman?
That's right, I did.
Would the appearance of that imprint be consistent with his brushing his sleeve over that area of the jeans?
Oh. I didn't answer that, but yes, in my opinion, that would be.
Now, did you also, sir, why don't you have a seat? Sir. Did Mr. Boziak also give to you photographs of an envelope found at the crime scene and a piece of paper that was found at the crime scene?
Yes, he did.
And had he already examined them himself when he gave them to you?
Yes.
Having already examined them, he asked you a question, he asked you to perform some work?
Sustained.
Well, he gave you those photographs, is that correct, sir?
He did.
Does he give you photographs every day as a gift, sir?
I have enough work, but no, he doesn't.
All right. So when he gave you those photographs, what did you understand you were supposed to do?
Well, I was to look at the pattern on those photographs to determine if fabric may have been the source of the imprint pattern.
And did you cause a board to be prepared of the photographs of those items, sir?
I did.
People 620 run?
620, and I'm sorry, may I see that briefly?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
3 photographs on this. All right. Is this the board you prepared to depict the envelope of the paper and test impressions?
Yes, it is.
Did you identify any patterns on either the paper, which you have labeled on this board as paper, or the envelope found at the crime scene, which is labeled on this board as envelope?
Yes, there were very fine parallel lines on the piece of paper at the bottom photograph, and also on the upper right-hand corner of the back side of that envelope that was recovered from the crime scene.
All right. Would you like to step down, sir, so you could show the members of the jury?
I'd be glad to. Okay, the top photograph is the envelope. The area is upper right-hand corner on the back side. It's a real small area. Small parallel lines going from left to right. The bottom photograph is of the paper. These lines are much fainter. They're located in this general area going from left to right again. They're in this area in the center of the photograph, as well as it appears that there's some a little bit further into that more stained area.
All right. For the record, with respect to the envelope, the witness pointed to the upper right-hand corner as you face it of the envelope. And with respect to the paper, the witness pointed to the area that is along the lower edge and approximately 1 inch up in the approximate middle of the paper. Now, if those lines on the paper, sir, are so faint, why didn't you simply magnify the photograph to be very big so that you could more easily visualize it?
Well, you can do that. Often when you magnify something this faint, you're going to start losing definition to it. And often many imprint patterns are more easily seen at the real low magnification, not higher magnification. You can alter the contrast by photographic techniques. You may add chemicals to different things to also darken it. But to leave it in its existing condition, I did not enlarge this. I felt you would lose definition.
Well, then why not add chemicals to the to the development process of the photograph so that you could more easily see the lines?
I think again, it may be a technique where, again, I'm not a photographer, but you may also increase the contrast by washing out some of the other areas and maybe focusing in on just the fine lines. But I think you'd better speak to a photographer on that.
All right. But if you did that for the purpose of your scientific comparison, would there be a problem with the validity of making a comparison with a photograph in which the contrast and the lines have been altered in color to your test impression?
Well, it obviously changes the appearance of it. If you're interested in just the image of the imprint pattern, it may not be that big of an issue. But trying to keep it in line with what you actually see in its real state, probably you may want to do that. It just depends on what angle you want to approach it from.
Now, when you examined the envelope and the paper, did you have any test impression to compare those patterns to on those two items?
I did, yes.
And what was the test impression you had?
Well, there was a test pattern that was prepared and submitted, taken of the jeans, and I also had one that I prepared myself.
And when you say the jeans, you mean Ron Goldman's jeans?
That's right.
So you compared the impressions found on the envelope and on the paper to test impressions taken of Ron Goldman's jeans?
That's right.
And when you did so, sir, did you form an opinion?
Well, my opinion is that the imprint pattern on the back of the envelope and also on the piece of paper could have been caused by the jeans, which is represented by the imprint patterns in the center photograph. All of these photographs are one-to-one.
Now, is that an important thing to know and to tell the jury, that the photographs are all one-to-one?
Sure. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, that's what I'm here to tell you, that this is what you're actually seeing. It's a very fine pattern that's exhibited, and you see the same fine type patterns that are found on the envelope. You want to represent the evidence, represent the identification as it is.
And in having a test impression that is not magnified compared to an unmagnified impression shown on the envelope and the paper, does that give you any greater degree of scientific certainty as to the consistency of those patterns with Ron Goldman's genes than if you had a magnified test impression or magnified impression of the envelope or paper to compare?
Again, and then we've gone over this, that whenever you're comparing two things, whether it's 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, or 100-to-1, you're going to be comparing them. You compare them at the same magnification. Or you can compare them one-on-one, and you may use a hand magnifier with low magnification to do that comparison.
Now, did the impressions on the envelope and the paper appear to you to have come from the same source?
Yes.
They look similar, did they?
They look the same to me.
And the impressions on the envelope and the paper, did they look similar to the impression you saw and identified on Ron Goldman's jeans?
The imprint pattern that was on his jeans?
Correct.
Oh, no, it's different. No, the shirt makes completely different patterns than the jeans.
And regardless of whether it was Ron Goldman's shirt or not, the imprint that you identified on Ron Goldman's jeans, did it appear similar to you, to the imprint patterns you found on the envelope and the paper?
No.
Then, in your opinion, sir, the imprints on the envelope and paper, were they made by a different object than the imprint on Ron Goldman's jeans that you identified?
They're made by different sources. Like the envelope and the paper appear to have come from a single source or a couple sources that may have the same pattern. And the one fabric imprint that was found on his pants, well, could not have been caused by the jeans. It could have been caused by the shirt. Or another fabric that has the same pattern.
Okay, so between the envelope, paper, and the jeans, you have at least two possible sources for the imprints, maybe three.
Well, at least two. Yeah, at least for these, and one or more for the imprint pattern on the right side of the pants.
Now, did you also prepare a chart, sir, showing the jeans, the shirt, and the envelope?
Yes, I did. Bless you. 621. May I see that briefly? Thank you. Thank you.
The previous chart was so small that you was pointing out perhaps it would be better to pass it around to the jurors. Or at least have somebody hold it up and show it to them.
All right, would you hand that to juror number 7, please? Thank you.
Come on, people. You're burning daylight. It is actually daylight right now and we're streaming. That's crazy.
All right, Mr. Clark, would you collect that from Deputy Smith, please? $621.
All right, now on this board I see that you have a picture of the blue jeans and a test imprint of the shirt, an imprint of the envelope, and a test imprint of the blue jeans. I don't see the piece of... I don't see a picture of the little paper that was photographed at the crime scene that was shown on the previous exhibit. Is there a reason for that, sir?
These were all magnified. Again, I stated I didn't increase the magnification on the paper.
So, what, because it was so faint?
Again, you would have a lot of difficulty in seeing it.
Tell us what you're trying to show us here on this board.
Well, the imprint patterns on this particular...
Counsel? Remember our rule on discussions? All right, thank you. Just a reminder.
The test imprint patterns on this particular chart are on the right-hand side. Okay, from test imprint of the shirt, of the blue jeans, and here's another fainter, a little lighter test imprint, taken under a little different photography situation. The photographs on the left were either color or black and white at about 4x for the top 4 photographs here, both test imprints and imprints on the blue jeans and envelope. The photographs on the bottom are a little bit larger. They're closer to 8 magnification. And I'll explain why that is. Upper left-hand corner, the imprint patterns that I pointed out before on the right side, on the blue jeans, on the right leg, and there's that blob again. That's kind of like the marker that I went by. The patterns appear going across the twill, okay, going across the ribs, which is significant because you wouldn't expect to see lines going in that direction unless there was something actually cutting across it. The pattern that the shirt leaves is on the right, and it's magnified about the same. So that the spacing and the appearance of these was compared with the spacing and appearance of those patterns found on the blue jeans. The imprint on the envelope, upper right-hand side, it's about 4x again. This one's a little bit darker. This is a heavy imprint. That's a lot of identicator solution pressed in. I often find that the better imprints are represented by the ones that you see on the lower right-hand side. And it's a Polaroid photograph of an imprint pattern. This was taken from the same sheet that this one came from, but it was from a little different area.
For the record, when the witness said this was taken from this, the witness was pointing to the lower right-hand photograph as being this, and then was taken from this, he pointed to the middle right side photograph.
As that.
As that. Thank you.
Thank you. And the reason I say this is because many of the imprint patterns that are left are not real dark. They're often very light, especially dust imprints that are they're very difficult to see. But this spacing here was compared with the spacing and so forth in appearance of the imprint that was on the envelope. And these are magnified again about the same, about 8 times or so.
So, on these two lowest photographs, sir, they're both 8 times magnification?
They're about 8. They're about 8.
So, in the right-hand column, those are all the test impressions?
On the right side, these are all test imprints from the shirt on the upper right, test imprint from the blue jeans, so the second and the third on the right-hand side.
But in each case, when you compare a test impression to the questioned imprint on this board, each pair is of the same magnification, is that right?
Same conditions, straight across. And it's similar to when I did hairs or fibers, same thing.
Now, did you notice on Dr. Lee's boards whether there was any indication as to what the magnification was that was used for any particular photograph?
Some of the ones that I saw, I didn't see any indication of magnification.
And was there any indication that you could see on those boards as to whether or not the items compared were of the same magnification or not?
If you had 2 items and you know they were the same, you could do a comparison that way to see if they're proportionally the same. Otherwise, it may have some difficulty. You have to have a reference point to work from to determine whether or not they're the same or they aren't the same.
Was there any indication on the boards that you could read to see whether the magnification was the same? Were they labeled as such?
No, but I didn't label these bottom photographs either. I'm just telling you because that's what I remember them to be. But I didn't see anything on his boards there to indicate that.
And in any case, you're telling us that those are the same magnification.
They're the same. Same photographic settings on the microscope that I used, and same size frame, same size picture in each case.
You can. So, Mr. Diedrich, based on all of the examinations that you conducted with respect to the questioned imprint on the jeans of Ron Goldman and the imprint patterns that were questioned on the envelope and piece of paper at the crime scene, what conclusion did you come to?
I placed the victim, Ron Goldman, at the crime scene.
That's the significance of what you found?
That's what I did.
Which is where he was found, correct?
That's what I understand.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Mr. Scheck?
Break at 2:30, so could we take a little early and come back a little early?
You want to get your exhibits together?
Reorganize and get boards
All
out.
right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our mid-afternoon recess at this time. Remember, all my admonitions to you will be in recess for about 15 minutes. All right, and Mr. Scheck, I'll have Mr. Robertson assist you with the exhibits. All right, thank you. Mr. Diedrich? 50. All right, back on the record in the Simpson matter. All parties are again present. Deputy McNair, let's have the jurors, please. Dick, would you resume the witness stand, please?
2 more witnesses,
And
maybe,
let the record
John?
reflect that we've been
No,
joined by all the members of our
no.
jury panel, that Mr. Douglas Diedrich is on the witness list.
I think Douglas Diedrich and witness Teresa Ramirez. Oh man, I can't remember if there's one more. I think the one we just saw was the 3rd one. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. But I know that the prosecutor had 3 more witnesses, and then they were going to close their rebuttal. And then I think, does the defense get to rebut the rebuttal? So there's that, I think. That's just on the prosecutor's side. So it has to be, because we still have quite a bit of trial to go. There's 493 videos, and we are on 455. It's just trigger finger from using it too much. I have off work for a couple weeks, so I'm wrapping it so I can heal it before I have to go back to work. It's a rare opportunity I get because I'm off work, so I'm taking it. It'll be fine in a couple weeks. It's not like a reoccurring injury or anything. It'll just be fine. Yeah, we got time.
Stand, and that the prosecution has completed their direct examination on the recall of Mr. Diedrich. And Mr. Scheck, you may commence your cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Agent Diedrich.
Good afternoon.
Agent Diedrich, I think I didn't have the pleasure of being in the courtroom the last time you testified, but I did watch it on television. You testified about hair and fiber.
Primarily, yes.
And I recall you telling the jury that you had done 500,000 or about 500,000 comparisons under a microscope of hairs and fiber.
That's probably reasonable.
And you indicated that that was about 3,000 cases per year.
No, it's about 300 some cases per year, probably.
300 cases per year. Well, have you been at the Bureau from, 1977, 78 was your initial training period?
Right, 77 is when I came.
And it would be fair to say that most of the time that you've been working at the Bureau, you've been at that microscope doing those 500,000 comparisons of hairs and fibers.
Right. Most of the work probably has been surrounding the microscope. That's correct.
And you are not expert in blood pattern interpretation.
I am not.
All right. And that involves the examination of bloody imprints.
I'm not an expert, but I assume that that's reasonable.
You used a term before, swipe.
Right.
Do you know if that has any particular significance in the discipline of blood spatter interpretation?
Well, I've heard it used before.
Were you just sort of throwing that term out, swipe?
That's the term that came to mind. It has nothing to do with a blood analysis because I'm not expert in that.
Okay. We'll get back to that. So you don't hold yourself out as an expert in blood pattern interpretation. Fair enough?
I would say that in general that's accurate.
And you are not trained in serology?
Well, I have some basic training, but I'm not a serologist.
No, wouldn't hold yourself out as having
No,
expertise in serology?
No, I wouldn't dare testify in that area.
Okay. Now, you rarely go to crime scenes in your, was it 20, how many years have you been with the Bureau? 28 years?
23. 23 about.
1977, 1995?
72, that's about right, 23 years.
23 years. In your 23 years, you have rarely gone to crime scenes.
Well, rarely, yes, I would say that's a good term.
And you just told me before that, to the best of your recollection, you can recall being at between 20 to 25 crime scenes.
That's probably a good number.
And to your recollection, you'd never been at a crime scene at the point where a body was still there. Most of these were homicides, right?
Most of them have been homicides, and I come in generally, and in fact, almost all those cases, the body has been removed.
Mm-hmm. Now, you would agree that the analysis of items at a crime scene is a much more dynamic and fluid situation than an analysis conducted in the laboratory.
Well, there's many considerations at a crime scene that you also may think about as a laboratory examiner, because you may need to request additional materials or request that certain other collections be made. But the crime itself is a dynamic event. There's many things that are going on, and you might be able to reconstruct some of that through the lab. You may need also to be at the crime scene to help.
All right, but we've discussed blood spatter interpretation, serology, and now what I'm getting to, as we discussed before, is the discipline of crime scene reconstruction. You're familiar with that?
I am.
All right. And you would not hold yourself out as an expert in crime scene reconstruction, that is, a person that goes to the crime scene and, taking account all the different disciplines, tries to do a reconstruction.
No, I wouldn't do that, no.
Okay. Now, have you ever you were asked to, you examined the jeans and the shirt at some point much earlier in the investigation of this case, did you not?
I did, yes.
Came to the Los Angeles Police Department and with Susan Brockbank from the LAPD, you looked at the jeans and the shirt.
Right.
And at that time, you did not take note of any imprint patterns on the jeans that you thought had any forensic significance.
No, I didn't look at those clothing items with that intent.
And the first time you began to look at photographs of the jeans and of the shirt was when you were in your office at the FBI sometime prior to Dr. Lee's testimony when you and Agent Bodziak got a telephone call.
Well, I believe he may have been on the phone at the time, and he also had a report that I saw.
And that was a report from Dr. Lee.
That's right.
And so you and Agent Bodziak began a reconsideration of imprint patterns after seeing Dr. Lee's report before he testified. Oh, well.
Well, a lot of my work initiated with that day as to consideration of fabric imprints or, yeah, it started on that day. I don't recall how negotiations went on or what discussions were held.
And you referred to test impressions that were the basis of your testimony here.
Right.
And these test impressions were conducted at the Los Angeles Police Department starting on August 21st.
Of this year.
Yeah. And did you even direct anybody on beginning those test impressions and how they should be done for purposes of a fabric comparison?
No, I didn't have any direct communication with anybody from the police department on that.
Okay. Now, Ms. Clark asked you a number of questions about your experience and qualifications to give this jury an opinion about imprints on fabrics. You recall those?
I do.
And you and I had had a discussion just a few minutes ago before you got on the witness stand about your qualifications in this area.
Right.
And after you and I discussed that matter, you went in and had some further conversations with Ms. Clark.
I don't believe so. I think I went upstairs and then came back down and ate some lasagna and came right back in.
No, didn't speak to anybody in the district attorney's office about anything that
No,
you and I had
I
discussed?
just had a seat.
Good. Now, in terms of the fabric impression work that you do, you have indicated that about 100 cases you've been involved in your 23 years as an agent where you did anything with fabric imprints.
That's about 100. That's right.
And most of these involved dust imprints,
Most of them did, yes.
and most of these were involved in hit-and-run accidents.
That's probably true.
Now, in reviewing Dr. Lee's testimony, do you recall he made a distinction between scientific fact and interpretation?
I don't recall that.
No?
There is a distinction, I'm sure.
Did you read his testimony?
No.
Did you watch his testimony?
Well, only part of it. I have other things to do.
Do you think that Dr. Lee was intentionally misrepresenting facts to this jury?
I have no idea what was going through his head.
Okay. Now, would you accept the distinction between scientific fact and interpretation?
Sure.
And would you agree that it is important to have adequate qualifications to get up on the witness stand and testify about something as an expert?
Well, it'd be nice to do it a few times before you talk about it.
Okay. Would you agree it is a scientific fact that the imprints that you just testified about are bloody imprints?
Well, I'm not certain of that, but I mean, I assume that's blood. It looks red, and it's a bloody crime scene, so I suspect that's blood. That's a fact.
Well, do you in any way dispute that the imprint on the envelope is an imprint made in blood?
No, I had no question about it.
The imprint on the piece of paper is an imprint made in blood?
Looks like blood.
The imprints, parallel line imprints on Mr. Goldman's jeans are imprints made in blood?
They're pretty dark, I tell. Black and white, almost, most of my photographs that I looked at.
Well, you saw some color photographs.
Yeah, but the color photograph was less than 1 to 1. I looked at the jeans last night. Could be dried blood.
Well, you don't feel qualified to render an opinion as to whether or not what you were examining here was, in terms of those parallel line imprints, were blood?
Well, I think I've already not qualified myself as a serologist.
Okay.
I didn't do any tests on them, but it's reasonable that they were blood.
Okay. And now you just indicated the first time that you looked at the jeans with the purpose of examining the imprints was last night.
That's right.
And basically what you were doing was a comparison of these test impressions and photographs, correct?
Last night it was test
No,
impression.
prior
I'm
to
sorry.
that. I'm
Prior
sorry.
to that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's right. It was based on photographic comparisons.
And you'd already written a report stating your conclusions before you ever went to the laboratory and looked at the genes.
That's right.
Now, isn't it a fact, Agent Dietrich, that in these fabric analysis cases that you've done before, you cannot recall even one time before this case that you did an analysis of bloody imprints on fabric that were left by other fabric?
No. And as I stated to you, that I cannot recall a specific case where that situation existed.
So, and you were, didn't you tell me before, if I understood you correctly, that in the 100 fabric impression cases that you'd done before, that most of them were dust prints?
Most of them were.
Some of them you were indicated...
Excuse me, counsel. When there's an objection.
I thought it was overruled. No?
All right, next question.
So, told me that, and I think you repeated it on direct examination, that there were some instances where when you were investigating a burglary, you would take putty imprints of some kind to relate it to fabric?
Right. I've had impression exams plus imprint exams, both.
But this case, and Dr. Lee's testimony concerned imprints made in blood, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And you can...
Okay, no more. Put your finger down. Put your finger down. Who are you talking to? Did your mama ever teach you any better than that? All right, hold on. That's a screenshot. Even though we're almost done with the OJ trial, I'm going to use that as the thumbnail. All right, guys. We made it almost to the very, very end of 255. Seriously, we're then, okay, now it gets crazy, okay? So we have a 2-hour video next, then a 12-minute video, then a 2-hour video, then a 30-minute video. So we got some tiny little videos. We got a 6-minute video. We got a couple 1-hour videos coming in here. So even though we have like 40-some videos left, we don't have 40-some days left at all, because a lot of them are very short. So we're getting there. Yeah, and being annoying in general, and breathing. Stop doing that too. There, I think we covered everything. Thanks for coming out, guys. I hope that you have a great day. And I shall see you all again tomorrow. Bye, guys.